Welcome to Nature's Glory Cabin Off-Road. Today we're doing a new trail on the southern expansion. People have been asking about these. These are pretty good ways. This is a long day. Ross Creek, Pistol Creek, full trail, and we're going to come back Raider Ridge, and I cut most of that out. There is a Raider Ridge video on here. As you can see, this is the full map coming from the Slade Rest area, going all the way down to Beattyville, cutting across and going down White Ash, and then across Hill Ridge Road, piece of 1209, and up to the Ross Creek, Pistol Creek loop. So we're going on down through here, and this is going to be a long one, I'm sorry, just because in order to get all the turns in is what we have to do. So here's a little more up to date there. You'll see a little tail urged above White Ash where we actually went the wrong direction. So White Ash 399, FS 100, and all of these turns will be in the video as well. If you need to go back and look at the map, it'll be there. So we're going to run down here and run on White Ash. It's mostly a gravel road. The nice thing about it is it does run along the Kentucky River. So we aired down here, and then we took on off. I took back the lead. I got turned around and missed the turn. So we're just going to air down here. We chatted a little bit. I spun that way up just so you could see us doing it. He's in his Badlands Sasquatch Bronco on 35s, and I'm on the in the JL Rubicon 2-door on 37s. Getting ready to take off here. I'm going to stop talking here in a little bit when we get to the actual trail and play mostly music. So here we are. We just turned on to White Ash. We kept staying on White Ash all the way out to Kentucky 399, and then we continue on 399 a little further. It's an hour and a half from the Slade interchange to get down here. Depending on how fast you drive, and if you get lost, it may take longer. So I just switched up and cut a whole bunch of that out. There's this underpass here, which is a I don't know, it's a railroad trestle or whatever you want to call it, where the railroad goes over. You saw us next to the railroad back there. We stopped and got aired down. And we just keep going on this. It's a lot of gravel and a lot of nothing else. Now here we are at 399. We're going to make a left here. There is what could be a water crossing if it ever rained enough. Haven't seen it but once with water in it before we get to that turnoff. Here's going to be another map. It's going to get us through another section. We're going to come off of 399, turn on to FS 100, which turns into Crestmont FS 100. It actually has a sign for Crestmont. You go across the river here, and there's a lock just off to the left when you cross this river. If you look off to the left, you can see the water running on the lock. We're getting close now. We've been on the road a while. Took us an hour and 45 minutes, counting the wrong turn I took. And of course we stopped and aired down. That added 10 or 15 minutes to it. So here's Crestmont. We already crossed the river back before. This is still FS 100 if you look at the Onyx map. The Backcountry Byway map has this labeled differently if you use their map. And there to the left is Todd's Road. We're not going to take that. On this day there was a sign that says something about it being closed. That's usually another off-road that you can take, but it's just gravel. It comes back into the same place where we're going to go. This is Hales Ridge Road here, and it's just blacktop. And we'll see this quickly on another map. And you can see where Hales Ridge Road, Kentucky, little piece of 1209. And the second is the entrance we're going to go on, and it's Pistol Creek, gravel up there someplace. Here's where we're hitting 1209. And of course I missed the turn again and zipped right by it. I wasn't paying attention to the map. You'll see Chad already stopped over here. And we went back, and now here we are, and we're getting ready to start the trail. Sway bar 4 low. Disconnect sway bars, go 4 low. Well, I wasn't thinking too much when we got into this mud hole we're coming up on here. I'm running on 37s and a real short wheelbase, and I wasn't thinking that Chad running 35s and the little bit longer Bronco might have maybe a little more of an issue with this. So we'll see here in just a second that this is the mud hole here, that he had a little bit of a problem with it. We just weren't thinking. It wasn't a great big deal. Anytime, what he should have done is kind of go off to the left a little bit and wouldn't have had a problem. But you'll see here in just a second that neither of us were paying very good attention, and we let him get bellied up on the mud here. He made it through the first one, getting ready to come to the second one, and I'm waiting, and nope, I guess not. So here he's coming a little bit, and we're going to have to, right there's the one that got him. He's got full skid plate, nothing was hurt, and this is all just dirt. So we just hooked him to the back of my Jeep and tugged him right out of there. It wasn't a great big deal. It's just that we weren't paying attention. He could have gone off. He could have gone to the left or to the right a little bit there, and probably got out of it with not any trouble without bellying up. We just weren't thinking about it at the time. So it turned out it wasn't a big deal, and that's the only place we had to pull out the winches. So everybody ought to see a little bit of it when it happens. We sped this up an awful lot, so you'll be able to just kind of see it. We found a nice little wide spot here to stop and have lunch. Had a nice little creek running next to us. We went over and sat on the edge of the creek, had our lunch, and just visited for a little while. It's really beautiful down here. I mean, it really is. So we're going to take off here and cross the creek, and there's a little bit of an off-camber spot over here. It's a rock, and if you're not familiar with it, it might kind of feel a little weird to you. It wasn't a great big degree off, but I bet if it was wet, it might be slick. So we got through this, and you can kind of see it a little bit. The camera flattens it out, really doesn't do it justice. And Chad asked me to make sure he got through it. He didn't really have any trouble, but I got out and went back and spotted for him a little bit, and he got right through it. You'll see here the rear camera. I went back. First, we're going to cross the creek with Chad. Then once we get up here, you'll kind of see a little bit of, there's that rock I was talking about, and how it doesn't look as bad on camera as it is in real life. So he asked me to come back and make sure that he just was in the right place. It wasn't a great big deal. So we did it, and we got on out of there. Well, after we cross this creek here, there's a hill we have to climb. It's got two ways up it. There's a straight up it that's much straighter up, and then there's another side that's a little off camber. What you don't see on the camera here is that we took a little bit of time deciding what we wanted to do, but we thought the off camber was a little bit too off camber, be going up and off camber. So you'll see me nose up to it here a little bit, kind of get a look at it. And then I'm going to get aimed at it. Now, I did turn my lockers on just to make sure life was easier to get right up it. So I would suggest that you really don't want to get up there and slide back down. You're better off being able to go all the way through it. I didn't go very fast. And of course, if you don't have lockers and such, you might have to go a little faster so you keep your traction. When that front end comes off the ground at the top, that's when you start to lose traction. So you might want to think about that. You're going to see a picture sequence of me and the JLR, and then a video of the Bronco going up the hill. You'll see that coming up next. Now, as soon as we get ready to go across this little spot in front of us, the next thing we're going to have is a choice to make. There are some deep ruts and another spot that's not quite as deep that might be a little easier. But there's nobody keeping check on me today, so it looks to me like we're going to choose the deep ruts. There's two of us to help guide each other. You're going to have to use your mud terrains or all terrain, something to grab the side of this dirt. It doesn't look like much, but there's a pretty deep rut right there. And we'll see some more of that from pictures and video coming up. Right now he's directing me to try to keep my tires really dug into that right side of that wall so that it doesn't slip down and possibly turn me over or damage the vehicle. So again, you saw there where my mirror was sticking out too far and it's not automatic to fold in, so Chad folded it in for me, and I had enough clearance to get by this tree. So he's guiding me on down. There's also a rock down here with a little bit of drop off, so we'll come down that, and then it's going to be a little other video. We'll show some video from the rear here coming up next. You'll see that next. This is really one of the longer off-road trails, actual off-road trails in the backcountry byway. But before you know it, like all the rest of them, you come out to gravel and pavement. And down here in this end, we're going to be on pavement for a while, pavement and gravel, before we get to the entrance of the next one, which some people call it part of Pistol Creek also. But if you zoom in on Onyx Road, on Onyx, it shows you that it is Raider Ridge Road. Got one little flag in it. But you're on gravel a lot up in here, between trails. If I was to do this again, I'd want to stay closer. There's about 3 good trails down here. I've only done this one. There's a couple others, but we're going to stay on pavement and gravel here for several miles before we get to the end. The beginning is Raider Ridge, as I was know it. Some people still call it Pistol Creek, and I think on the Onyx map, it kind of looks like Pistol Creek, but again, if you zoom in, it becomes Raider Ridge. I'm going to cut most of this out because it is very dry and not much going on. I'll let you listen to some music and see what's going on. We'll pick it up at the end. Well, we finally made it to the end. It's time to air up. Got 1209 right there in front of us. That's the same road we came in on when we started. The entrance to Pistol Creek, Ross Creek, is just down the hill to the right, and we're going to go left and back the way we came. Part of the way, we're going to stay on mostly blacktop this time. It's getting late in the day. So you'll see here where we come out on 1209, and we're going to stay on 1209. It continues into 587. We came in off Hills Ridge Road, which is a little higher up, and we're going to stay all the way on 587 for quite a few miles when it runs into Highway 11. We're going to cut most of this out because, again, it's just boring and it's road. This whole day, if you looked at the original map, gosh, it was something like over 7 hours from start to finish. So it was a long day. So we're going to head back here. You'll see again we're picking up 587 where it touches, finally comes into Highway 11 North. You stay on Highway 11 North all the way through Betaville and right back to Slade. So you'll see here, this is where it comes into Highway 11 North. Stay on it. It's going to turn one more time down here as you get into Betaville. And you want to stay on it at this light and just go right straight through Betaville and all the way back to Slade or wherever it is you want to go. And have a good day. We went back and had a dinner, snacks, whatever you want to call them, at the Red River Rock House. A really great place to eat. Be sure to get over on our Facebook page of the same name. Lots of good still pictures over there. And that's where we interact with most folks. Hope everybody enjoyed this. Again, we appreciate you. Thanks for watching.